And this week, the band rotation dictates that this band right here, Mother Superior, is about to kick it off for us.
Hey.
Yes.
I don't drop the beats. I brought the bass. This week I'm gonna do something else. Hi everybody. My name is Soup. I'm gonna do something that'll hopefully attract your attention. Because I'm one of those guys that doesn't play with music, but I play with music all the time. I'm one of those lyrical gentlemen. I like to do something where I talk about things that sometimes make sense to what other things have happened before, but most of the time, I like to talk about things that I give a shit about. I got to tell you guys, feeling a little indifferent. I feel kind of like the things that I do sometimes don't actually impact what is happening around me. Sometimes I feel like the things that I say may not have the weight that I thought they did behind them. But a lot of times, I feel people listening. That's the biggest distraction to me, is the listening. I want to hear what you have to say when I say things. I want to see what you have to say when I say things. I want to understand what you understand when I say things. I have a lot of weird pent-up energy behind me. I'm not really sure at a lot of times during the day where I'm supposed to be going, but when I do go in the right direction, it feels like it's right. There's a lot about what I do that at a certain point in the experience of actually doing it, I feel like I'm doing the right thing, but when I started it, I wasn't really sure about it. It just felt like another one of those steps. There's a lot about me saying things to people that makes me feel just like somebody who talks. But there's so much more to the communication. We have so much more in the interaction between the people that we have around us that we create an environment for ourselves. And a lot of the times, the environment I create for myself is so introverted that I don't really understand the outside input that I get. A lot of times I'm really enveloped inside of myself, and the only things that I can see are the things that I invoke from my own meandering experience. Really, when I want to say something, the first thing that comes to mind is not saying anything at all, because I really believe that the biggest impact that you can have is a certain amount of silence as a reaction. Because if somebody is going to impact you in a certain way, there has to be a certain reaction to that impact, and when that reaction is absolutely nothing, it creates this weird state of mind for the person that gets to envelope that to themselves. And since I'm originally enveloping to myself and then I'm emoting upon the rest of the world, there really is this certain specific detailed moment where we have to cross paths. And at that certain specific intersection is where I like to talk. It's almost like that moment when you're closing your eyes on the top of your bed, because you're never really in your bed. If you were in your bed, you'd cut a hole in your mattress and you feel like Uncle Fester and you fall kind of deep into that shit and your head is held up by a pillow that's kind of too high and you're not really sure how you're supposed to breathe that way because your sinuses don't really work when they're angled like this. But the things you're thinking inside of your head are so much more clear than the things that you can say out of your mouth, because the language that we have is only so descriptive, but the thoughts that you have are based on that language originally, but you can express them so much more clearly because you're thinking them. There's no attenuation based on the other things. Your experience in life is not dictating the things that you say because you're saying them to yourselves, and you're the only selves that have experienced the things that you have projected. There's a certain point, really, where everything that you emote is going to be a certain detail to the life that you look back upon when you feel the future. So I feel the future right now. And when I feel the future, I feel things that are going to come forth in front of me, progressively, as time moves on. The worst part about that is that I don't actually know what's coming next. There isn't actually a moment that I can define that is in front of the experience that I'm having right now, because the experience that I have right now is based upon the time that I am measuring inside my own brain. And really, when I move forward in such a thing, I'm only experiencing everything in my own timeline. And that really has to do with my own experience. So when you hear about me talking about something like the Lost Zephyr, or where the wild things are, or how much the Galaxy Guardians are going to save the universe, you only get to experience that upon your own experiences, because everything that I say is going to be attenuated to the things that you have felt and thought before me. So everything that I say actually has a certain meaning to you, because I can universally exchange a certain amount of feelings that make you feel like there was something that we had in common before. Those small little details that we really wanted to experience are commonalities that we get to share between the 6.9 billion people on the universe world. Because how do you define a universe other than the things that you know? And the only things that we know are encapsulated inside of one piece of rock that is floating inside of infiniteness. And I'm not really sure about how everything's going to go. Sometimes there's a certain amount of things that you want to feel. But really, all that you're going to understand is the rhythm of how things are going to lay themselves out. You know the details are there in the beginning, but when they are going to expel themselves from your body and your spirit, they are really encapsulated by one thing. That's a beat. There's a beat to your heart. There's a beat to your breath. There's a beat to my words. So when I say things, I pause at the right time. And I breathe at the right time. And the details really become clear because of the way that I'm saying them. Not the things that I'm saying, but the way that I'm saying them. So when the universe comes full circle, and those stones cross upon my horizon, the details that I feel are in here. Everything that I want to define is in here. My expression upon you is only a projection. There is nothing really short of my own experience. So when I say that to you, all you have is your own experience. There is time. There is space. There is rhythm. There is voice. Those things won't line up unless you want them to. Those things won't really make a cohesive argument unless you really want to follow the dots and the lines and the bullet points. But when it comes down to it, we all have something to say. We have somewhere to be. My conscious thoughts repeatedly turn back to a feeling of missing something, like there's an empty piece inside of here that I always have to fulfill. And I'm pretty sure that this is universal, and everybody wants to fill that hole inside of their heart. And the only thing that you can do to do that is express yourself. Sometimes you have to bring your friend up on stage to really drive the point home. Everything you have is based upon the things you do. A lot of the things you do are based upon the things that you say, and all the things that you say are cohesively adhered to the people that are right in front of you when you say those things. So when the universe comes full circle, and there are 364 3/4 of a day, and you get one extra every 4 years, so your birthday only comes every 4 years because you're a leap year, baby. You're going to experience the world. Because you don't miss a day. There is no such thing as the leap year. It's just another rising and a setting of the sun. And really what that has to do with is the magnetism inside of your brain that creates such a thought that you can express it to somebody else. I'm not really sure when my details came to fruition, but I'm really sure they came to fruition in front of a lot of people. I'm the kind of guy that doesn't know what to say except I miss you. I'm the kind of guy that doesn't know what to say except I love you. I'm the kind of guy that doesn't know what to say except nothing at all, because there really isn't anything to say at all, because time and space aren't actually anything. Let's experience this together. Let's be a part of this cohesive nature. Let's think together, at least for just one moment every 7 or 8 days. Because when we do such a thing, we make such a power. We are powerful. Because I'm one man. And I sit before you asking a simple thing. All I say is that we raise our voices above my own, so that everything beyond what we do here is heard inside of that universe that I talk about so freely, inside of the solar system that creates rotations around planets and stars and not stars, so that we understand something, so that there is a math that we can all fall back on, when in reality it comes down to the details of individual thoughts, which are randomized beyond any mathematics that we could really think of. Because I'm just one man. And at one time, I only have one thought. And when I really feel it, when it comes down to it, it's everybody else's thoughts too. My name is Super.